Right now, while you're watching this video, two superpowers are locked in a battle that will determine the future of the global economy. And here's the scary part. Most people have no idea it's happening. This isn't about tanks or missiles. This is about money, technology, and control. The United States and China are fighting an economic war that's already affecting the price of everything you buy, the security of your job, and the stability of your savings. Your phone, caught in the crossfire. Your retirement fund, taking hits from both sides. The cost of that car you want to buy, going up because of this conflict. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what's happening between the USA and China, why it matters to you personally, and what could happen if this war escalates. Because whether you're paying attention or not, you're already living with the consequences. Let's go back to understand how we ended up in this mess. For decades, the relationship was simple. China made stuff cheaply, America bought it. Everyone seemed to win. American consumers got affordable products. American companies got massive profits. China's economy exploded, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty. But something changed around 2010. China stopped being content as just the world's factory. They launched Made in China 2025, an ambitious plan to dominate the industries of the future. Artificial intelligence, robotics, semiconductors, electric vehicles, quantum computing. The United States looked up and realized China wasn't just catching up. In some areas, they were pulling ahead. Then came the wake-up call. Chinese companies like Huawei were building 5G networks across the globe. TikTok had more influence over American youth than any US company. Chinese electric vehicle makers were crushing Tesla in their home market. American policymakers realized something terrifying. The country that controls the technology of the future controls the future itself. And that's when the gloves came off. In 2018, President Trump launched the first major salvo with tariffs on Chinese goods. Many thought it would end with a new president. It didn't. President Biden kept most of those tariffs and added new restrictions on technology exports to China. Why? Because this isn't about politics anymore. This is about power. And both Democrats and Republicans agree on one thing. China cannot be allowed to become the dominant economic superpower. This economic war is being fought on multiple fronts. Let me break down the four main battlefields. Battlefield 1, technology and semiconductors. Think of semiconductors as the oil of the 21st century. These tiny chips power everything from your smartphone to fighter jets to artificial intelligence systems. The United States has blocked China from accessing advanced chip-making technology. Companies like NVIDIA can't sell their most powerful AI chips to China. ASML, a Dutch company that makes the machines necessary to produce cutting-edge chips, is banned from selling to China. Why does this matter to you? Because China is responding by pouring hundreds of billions into developing their own chip industry. This means duplicate supply chains, higher costs, and technological fragmentation. The world is splitting into two incompatible tech ecosystems. Battlefield 2, trade and tariffs. Right now, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods face additional tariffs, extra taxes that make products more expensive. Who pays these tariffs? Not China. You do. When the US puts a 25% tariff on Chinese goods, American companies either absorb the cost, cutting into profits and jobs, or pass it to consumers, making everything more expensive. American farmers have been devastated. China used to be the top buyer of US soybeans and pork. Now, they've switched to buying from Brazil and Argentina. Those markets aren't coming back easily. Battlefield 3, currency and financial systems. China has been working to internationalize the yuan, trying to reduce dependence on the US dollar. They've created CIPS, an alternative to SWIFT, the messaging system that processes most international payments. If China successfully creates a parallel financial system, the United States loses one of its most powerful weapons, the ability to use financial sanctions to punish countries and companies. Battlefield 4, Critical supply chains. COVID-19 exposed a terrifying reality. America depends on China for critical supplies, pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, rare earth minerals, needed for everything from smartphones to missiles. Both countries are now racing to decouple to build independent supply chains that don't rely on the other. This reshoring and friendshoring is expensive and inflationary. Here's where it gets personal. This economic war is already changing your life, and it's about to get worse. Your wallet inflation isn't just about pandemic stimulus or energy prices. A huge driver is this economic conflict. Tariffs, supply chain disruptions, and duplicate manufacturing systems all increase costs. That's money out of your pocket for the same products. A recent study found that American consumers have paid over $230 billion in higher prices due to tariffs. That's about $1,800 per household. Your job. If you work in manufacturing, agriculture, or technology, you're on the front lines. American farmers are struggling with lost Chinese markets. Manufacturing workers face uncertainty as companies decide where to build new facilities. Tech workers watch as Chinese competition gets artificially hobbled, reducing innovation pressure but also market opportunities. Your investments. Look at your retirement account. Your 401k or pension is likely invested in global markets. When US-China tensions spike, markets tank. We've seen this repeatedly. Trade war announcements can wipe out trillions in stock market value in days. Global consequences. The rest of the world is being forced to choose sides. South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, traditional US allies who also rely heavily on Chinese trade, are stuck in the middle. Developing countries that depended on Chinese investment through the Belt and Road Initiative now face pressure from the US to reject that funding. Europe is trying to maintain relationships with both sides, but finding it increasingly impossible. This isn't just an American or Chinese problem. The global economy is interconnected. When the two largest economies fight, everyone suffers. Let me walk you through three possible futures. Scenario 1. Managed competition, the best case. The United States and China establish clear rules of engagement. They compete fiercely but predictably. Trade continues with some restrictions. Technology sectors separate, but don't completely decouple. In this scenario, you see moderate inflation, gradual supply chain adjustments, and continued but slower global economic growth. Not ideal, but manageable. Scenario 2. Cold War 2.0, the likely case. Competition escalates into full technological and economic separation. Two completely separate ecosystems emerge. Countries must choose the American sphere or the Chinese sphere. This means significant inflation as duplicate systems are more expensive, slower global growth, increased geopolitical tensions. Your investment returns suffer as global markets fragment. Innovation slows because researchers and companies can't collaborate freely. This is where we're currently heading. Scenario 3. Hot conflict, the nightmare. The economic war turns into actual military conflict, most likely over Taiwan. Taiwan produces 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. If China moves on Taiwan and the US intervenes, we're looking at global depression, massive market crashes, supply chain collapse, potential financial system breakdown. Your retirement account could lose 40 to 60% of its value. Unemployment could hit Great Depression levels. This is the nightmare scenario, but the risk is real and growing. So, what should you do? Understand this is real. This isn't political theater or temporary trade disputes. This is a fundamental restructuring of the global economic order. It will define the next 30 years. Diversify your investments. Don't have all your money in stocks, heavily dependent on either US or Chinese markets. Consider commodities, different geographic regions and sectors that might benefit from reshoring. Prepare for inflation. This conflict will continue driving prices up. Build an emergency fund. Consider how to increase your income. Be strategic about major purchases. Stay informed. This situation changes rapidly. Trade policies, technology restrictions, and diplomatic tensions shift constantly. What's true today might be different in 6 months. Think long term. Short term market volatility from this conflict creates opportunities for patient investors. Don't panic sell when tensions spike. The USA versus China economic war isn't coming. It's here. It's happening right now, and it's escalating. The question isn't whether you'll be affected. You already are. The question is whether you'll understand what's happening well enough to protect yourself, and maybe even position yourself to benefit. This is the defining economic conflict of our generation. The decisions made in Washington and Beijing over the next few years will shape the world your children grow up in. Understanding this war isn't just about economics or geopolitics. It's about understanding the forces shaping your financial future. If you found this valuable, share it. The more people who understand what's really happening, the better equipped we all are to navigate what's coming. Because in this economic war, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Thanks for watching.